Woke up today, smile on my face. May not go my way, still got my face, so I'll be
all right, y'all. We got Ben and Alex VanSumeren in the house. These are my wife's cousin, which essentially makes me your cousin in some roundabout way.
Yep.
But I'm super honored to have you guys in here. I appreciate your time and excited for this last minute edition. Right? You text me, you're like, "Can I come?" I'm like, man. All caps. Fuck. I don't know what I said.
You're like, hell yeah, bro.
Yeah, I said hell. Yeah, I said hell yeah. So super excited that you're here, brother. And Ben, thank you for, Ben's been on and shared some lessons on the Winner Circle Mastermind on the weekly calls. You're speaking tomorrow at the Mastermind, so I certainly appreciate you. Ben is both these gentlemen from Bay City. Ben just won a Super Bowl with the Philadelphia Eagles, which is really an amazing story. Undrafted to, correct me if I'm wrong, to practice squad, to starter, and to winning the Super Bowl. I think that's correct progression, which is amazing. Right. And from Michigan to Michigan State. So just an interesting journey. You're Definitely. Obviously at State.
Yes, sir.
And you're not messing around. I watched you play live last year. I said, uh-oh.
Yeah, we're locked in, man. I'm trying to get where my big brother's at. So.
Yeah. What is that like, having a big brother? Well, I know a lot of people know what it's like having a big brother. But literally, I mean, because you guys are athletic, right? I mean, you were dominated in many sports, baseball being one of them, football. And, that's something that athleticism is just a great thing. Athletics is a great thing because it carries it over and blends into so many areas of life beyond that. And so what is it like having a big brother win the damn Super Bowl?
It's so inspirational, man. It's great.
Yeah.
I was able to go on the field with him after that, and that was definitely something that I'll remember forever.
Yeah.
And just to see that, it inspires me to go even harder.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you think you have an advantage over him because of that?
I think he gets things off me. I get things off him. It goes both ways. But I'm definitely blessed to have someone like that because a lot of people I know their older brothers aren't, doing too well. They're not making the right decisions. They're not working hard. So to have him and to see what it truly looks like to grind your ass off, that's where I learned. Yeah. And that's, the reason why I'm at, because I saw what it took to get here, and it takes what it takes.
So where did you learn?
I kind of picked it up a little. I don't want to say it was natural. I feel like, accountability, discipline, it's not a natural thing. That's what I've learned over the years. Like so many people, they don't have it, but you can get it, and it doesn't matter really where you're at in your life or what point. You can grab onto some type of motivation, and you can be consistent and do it day in and day out. And it's not easy, but I've done it from a pretty young age. I was highly motivated, and I haven't really stopped since. Haven't taken really had a bunch of lapses or anything like that. So. Don't know, really where I got it, but always had aspirations to do big things and never really stopped.
Yeah. Well, I think it's cool that you say you're not born with it, right? Because so many people see others that are successful and say, oh, they're so lucky, or, oh, they, overnight sensation, or they don't realize that, no, these are learned disciplines. They're choices that we make every single day. When we get up and go to the gym, I go to the gym every damn day. I post it every day. I'll run into people that are like, man, you must love the gym. I'm like, I fucking hate it.
Yeah.
Because I hate it, I go. Because I know that it's going to serve me well, one, right? Because I hold myself accountable to others, not just to myself. And I think for me, I've learned, when I hold myself accountable only to me, I'm like a fraction of who I am when I hold myself accountable to many.
Yeah.
So I think learning who we are and how we operate from an accountability standpoint is important. But also just for the listeners, understand, no matter where you're at today, you can make that change tomorrow. Just by the choices that you make, and then you have to consistently carry them over and over and over. So how do you develop that discipline? Because I always say it's a muscle, right? So both of you to play at a high level. And by the way, when you say, some of the guys that spending time and their brothers aren't making the same choices, I get exactly where you're going with that. It would be easy sometimes, I think, for you guys also to go down a path I'm gonna skirt off here and start doing all this silly shit, which would derail you from where you're trying to get. So how do you stay disciplined just in the choices that you make on a daily basis?
Well, it first starts with getting off the couch and actually going and doing it for the first time. And a lot of times that first step is really the hardest thing. Just to get that ball rolling in the first place. And I mean, you got to make decisions day in and day out. And I've said it before when I spoke on that Zoom call before. it's a zero-sum world, and that's the way that I look at it every single day. You know, everything is a gradable thing. Every thought is gradable. If I have, an opportunity to maybe go to the gym, or opportunity to do something that, acquire some type of new, knowledge or something that could level my character up, and I choose not to, that's a zero. So it's just it's choices every single day. And if you want to be great, you don't have a lot of choices. It's an illusion. So people think they have all these choices and can go really any route with it, and they can. But if you want to do, big things, it's a day in and day out commitment.
Well, and I think a lot of times the more choices you have, the more, like, the devil's in the level, right? So the more choices you have, the more opportunities you have to get derailed.
Absolutely. And I mean, you know how it is, like when you start getting more attention and more popularity, or you get your money up a bit, there's some things that could pull at you and try to derail you. But, ultimately you just got to really hone into, why you started in the first place. And I think that comes a lot with, most people have a scarcity mindset. People have the mindset they want to get to a certain point, and then they're going to kick their feet up and stop. Bro. And that's why I think that people, fall short of that. And that's why they get derailed by some of these things that really pull at them.
Yeah. And I think also there's the outcome, and there's the process. And the people that are outcome driven, the money, the fame, I made it to the league. Yeah, but you haven't done anything yet. You know what I mean? Like, if you're outcome driven, you stop when you get to those outcomes. If you're process driven, no matter the outcome you receive, money, whatever it is, you just fucking keep going.
Definitely. Yeah. And I actually see that all the time, because there's a ton of guys around the league. They talk about how long do you want to play? And it seems like the really common answer is I want to play 10 years and then never work again. And I've never understood that. Yeah. I've been saying for a while.
Those guys will be fucking broke.
they'll be broke, and they're not going to see 10 years.
Or I shouldn't say that, because I don't know what, it's a different kind of money for some of those guys, right? But still, we know from history, a lot of them will go broke. But will they be fulfilled?
Yeah. From
a standpoint of truly have enjoying their lives.
Yeah.
Because I think that's the other piece, is once you get money, if you don't have fulfillment, then what good is it? You know? So there's so many lessons inside of this stuff. And I think that's why athletics and business or entrepreneurship have so many parallels. So tell me, Alex, for you, like, you're going into what year? Junior?
Yeah.
Junior year. Yeah. So potential to enter the draft after junior year?
Yes, sir.
Is that the intent?
That's the goal. The goal is to be a first-round draft pick, yes.
After junior year?
Yes.
Love it. So what does that look like for you right now in the offseason on a daily basis? And by the way, here's something really cool for the listeners. Like, both of these gentlemen, because you started at Michigan, then transferred to Michigan State. Obviously, you're at Michigan State. Kurt Richardson, who you guys both know personally, is going to be at the dinner tonight and one of the speakers tomorrow. Phenomenal guy. And I met him. One of the agents on my team knew him from when he was in the mortgage industry. First time I met Kurt, heard him speak at our retreat, I'm like, that's a dog right there. We got to get him involved more. So what does that look like for you now in the off season, preparing for going into the draft after the junior year? And both of you just recovered from freaking pretty major injuries.
Yep.
Yeah, so, I had an injury 2 years ago, coming up on 2 years. I was essentially out for a full year. And in hindsight, I'm super grateful for it. Like, it's the best thing that could happen. During it was rough. Yeah. It was really rough. Not being able to walk, to, do everything like that. But I'm back, and I'm back better than ever. Yeah. This past season, I was fortunate to start all 12 games and had a good year, and I'm really looking to build off of that as much as possible. And I have a full off season. I didn't have an off season because I was rehabbing. I have a full off season, and we're super prepared to win every game on the schedule. That's the mindset. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
People say, "Oh, how many games do you want to win?" We want to win every single game, but you can only do it one day at a time, one play at a time. So that's where I'm at, and just to talk about earlier when you were talking about the working hard, my viewpoint of that is the human body was meant to be pushed to extreme limits. And I really find peace and joy in doing that, Yeah. Like, what I do, like, I'm so blessed to be able to play football. I want to play forever. Like, I love this game. I know people that are digging holes for a living.
Yeah.
Waking up at 4:30, my buddy is not coming home until 8 p.m.
Digging a hole.
A lot of people, everyone thinks they got it so hard. You don't.
Yeah.
It's not as hard as you think, because people got it a lot worse out there. So
Yeah, I mean, listen, every day is a blessing, just the fact that you wake up, right?
Yeah.
And then you look around at the circumstances of others. I mean, look at all these kids that just died in the flood. I mean,
unreal.
right? It's just
Wild.
It's crazy. So I do think it's important, and this ties back to where I was going to go next, actually, and I believe is the faith that you guys have, right, in Jesus. So talk to me a little bit about that and how does that play a role in who you are, one as an athlete, but more importantly as a human being.
Yeah, I mean, my parents really brought me to God from a young age, and I'm grateful for that, because a lot of people don't really have that foundation to begin with, or they're told that while they're young, and they kind of drift away from it because whether they want to be rebellious or they don't see God working in their life. And there's been plenty of times in my life where I felt like things weren't really going great, and I could have really drifted away as well. And there's times that I look back on that I really wasn't as close with God as I should have been at the time. But God's always been with me, and it's always been a big part of my day to day, and how I function, how I deal with things, my thought process. And I just feel like society as a whole is good, with God in it. It's a better place with God in it.
Yeah.
Even regardless of religion or faith, I think religion is a good thing for society as a whole. So having a relationship with Jesus Christ is something that has really helped me through the years, and it's something that I'll never let really slip away from me.
I gotta imagine, like, through the injury, because your injury was 2 years ago, yours was just last year.
Yeah.
Well, 3/4 of the way through the season, right?
Yeah.
So talk to us about that. Like, in those moments, is that where you were able? Because I think sometimes we think about our relationship with Jesus, and it's like he's in the trunk, like the spare tire, right? And we run to him when we need him. But when we keep him at the fore of everything, not abandoning him. How did that play a role in your injury and seeing through that?
Yeah, I mean, an injury is tough, and it's tough.
Especially in 3/4 of the way through the season when you're on a Super Bowl run.
Right. And it's I mean, first off, it's hard out there. I've said that, a bunch of times, and I've understood that life is really a roller coaster, of ups and downs.
Yeah.
And I know, life will never let you get too high, and it'll never let you get too low either. So I kind of adopted that mindset, from years ago. I had a college coach that was really influential in my life. He kind of, taught that and instilled that in me. But just knowing that there's a bigger plan and a bigger purpose for you out there.
Yeah.
And, an injury might be something that knocks you down, but my whole life, I feel like the times that I've really done my best work, and the times where things have really trended upwards for me, are after, bad things have happened.
Yeah. Well.
So I just know it's the start of some type of upward trajectory.
Well, and I think what's really interesting, right, is you get to look to him as the Super Bowl champion, and like, man, he got to look to you for going through your injury, and I'm sure that played a role.
Yeah, it definitely did. Seeing him, seeing the way that he worked for years to get back to where he was, being a starter after an injury like that, and starting every game this past season, being healthy, that's something that was, inspirational to me as well. But the whole injury thing is different. It opens your eyes to a bunch of different things, mindset wise, but even, like how to deal with the human body, what people are really doing out there to recover from things like this. Because, I got cleared 5 months and 28 days after surgery, and that was a 14-month recovery.
And tell him what happened.
I tore my patella in my knee, and in the past, that's been a very serious injury. And I've said before, it's just like that for me, it was this injury, but it's been other things in my life where you kind of look, and I might even research who's been through something like this, who's recovered and done the things I want to do, been a Pro Bowler, been an All-Pro, won a Super Bowl, who's done this, from this injury. Or there's been other times in my life who played in college out of my high school. I look around, there's nobody, and there's not a whole lot of guys who even came back from the injury that, the way that I have. And, I did it in 5 months and 20 days, and every metric that I had before that we had recorded, from force plate testing to, power squats and vertical height and everything, my max speeds, it's all higher than before.
That's wild.
So I'm grateful. I mean, there's a lot of new technology and stuff out there that you can really dive into for these recoveries. But it's a grind, and I'm actually, I'm grateful for it now. I mean, the things that I'm really doing in my day-to-day this off season is even mentally preparing myself for what's to come this year. Because I know I know I'm trending upward. I know there's big things coming forward for me. Yeah. So just preparing myself for those big moments. And it might sound crazy, but even like visually, you know, I feel like I have a photographic memory, and you know, it's even these flashes. You need a little bit of motivation. Well, I think about the time I was laying there, you know, in the bed after surgery. I couldn't walk.
And you got hurt in practice.
I did,
which I think just is salt in the wound, right? Like
it was, before Baltimore.
Yeah. And your injury came in a game?
No, a week before the season.
Dang.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right. You didn't even play that season.
No, it was a week before the season. But like I said, I'm very grateful for it.
So you say that, right? And I get it, but explain what that means to the listeners. Like, I'm grateful for the injury because
I became a better person.
Amen.
On the other side.
Yeah.
I became a better football player. You know, I became more mentally strong. You know, a lot of people think it's physical, and it is physical. But when you get to a point in a very high level of what you do, whether it be football, whether it be real estate, whether it be whatever, a lot of it's mental.
Yeah.
And another thing is my faith. It grew tremendously. You know, that's everything, right? I read something that the goal of man is to glorify Jesus Christ and to bring praises to his name.
Amen.
So,
bro, so good.
That's why we're here.
Yeah.
Right?
I literally need to send somebody in the gym to go grab that Jesus Calling if you'll text Christian. Because, you know, we have a gym here in the office, right? We work out every day. After the gym, we read this Jesus Calling book, and I'm standing there with Alec, who you just met.
Jesus Calling, I know. Yeah, the devotion. Yep,
yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and we read it every day, and you know, everything we do, we have prayer before we do it, and we're very faith forward. If that's not for people, then this ain't the place for you, and I'm fine with that, you know? So we're downstairs in the gym. We read the Jesus Calling after. You know, as I said, Alex sits here. You just met him. What did he say? He's 7 years recovering heroin addict. Not many recover from that, by the way. They're usually dead or in prison. He's 5 years sober. You know, I'm going on 20 months sober, battled alcoholism my whole life. And I think about like these things that we go through in our lives and then how Jesus works, right? So he and I are standing there, and in the Jesus Calling, it reads, and it talks about a lot of these things we're talking about today, but it's talking about the third, fourth generation of whatever the thing is in your life, right? Whether it's good, bad, or ugly, and then how we're meant to glorify Jesus, which is what you just said. And like, how do we use all those past experiences to get to where we are now, the injuries, right? All of the things that we go through to get to where we are now, to develop into the person that really has the ability to glorify Jesus because we've lived through these setbacks. But they're really, I feel like they're almost setups. Like
definitely.
Setting us up for the next phase. Sure. And one of the things, like because I debated whether to even talk tomorrow, right? I mean, there's a lot of dynamic speakers. They don't need to hear from me. But I want to open it up and kind of set the stage for everybody. And I just kept thinking about, like, I was unsure what I was going to talk about. And I'm like, God is going to move in this room, so I don't need to worry about that. And for some reason, I started thinking about this threshold theory. Like, I was in the gym, and I think that's why I thought of it. Like, in the gym, there's always a threshold, right? And if you're not willing to go through the threshold, you're never going to improve. If you can only bench whatever it is and you're not willing to go through the threshold, you're never going to be able to bench past that. If you can only jog 2 miles and you don't go 2.1, you're never going to go 2.1. And in business and in life and in all of these things, these are thresholds that we hit. And a lot of people, when they hit the threshold, they just throw in the towel. Or they won't do enough, work hard enough, and some of that's suffering, to break through that threshold. You guys probably face thresholds all the time. What's the key? What's the switch that you use to break through that threshold?
I mean, like I just talked about a second ago, there's a lot of imagery in my life that I feel like I'll try to flash back to or relate to. You know, if it's maybe a moment, you know, earlier in my college career, for a while it was that I felt like I was on the outside looking in. I wasn't playing as much as I would have liked to. You know, if I reached that point, I can't give in. You know what I'm saying? I can't give in. I relate back to something like that. For me now, I mean, I even try to practice it now in the off season. You know, when things get tough, which they're about to get tough. We're going to training camp. Yeah. We got a long season ahead of us. You know, what am I gonna refer to? Yeah. And for me, it's, you know, sitting in that hyperbaric chamber when I hear, you know, guys are going out to practice, or, you know, guys are going out to the game, and I got to sit in this chamber for 120 hours over 3 months, and, you know, just to get my body right, you know. So, you know, for me, it's images. For me, it's past experiences. And it's all the motivation and all the fuel to the fire that I really need to keep going. But just getting really comfortable with being uncomfortable is something you got to learn to love.
Well, and I think that's a threshold thing, right? Like when we're entering something that's uncomfortable, it's only uncomfortable because we haven't done it enough.
Yeah.
Right. So like being willing to get uncomfortable is one of our core values at Wentworth Real Estate, because I understand what's on the other side of it. And if every day you will face something that you're uncomfortable with doing, you're going to break through to the other side at some point. And it's like now you've raised a new bar for yourself. So a bar like in athletics is, I feel like we're always raising the bar. Winners raise the bar, right? They raise the bar, they get to that next level, and then they raise the bar again. How do you keep doing that as opposed to most people get content, right? People start winning, they put their feet up. Happens in professional sports even, right? People, I think there's like back, I don't know if it's fight or flight, but this innate nature, like I've made it, and they put their feet up. How do you avoid that?
I think in whatever aspect you're doing in your line of work, you got to want to do it because you love it, right? But at the same point, you're not just doing it for yourself, you're doing it for others, you're doing it for your family, for your parents, for
your teammates,
for your spouse, for your teammates. When you do it for other people, you'll push further.
Dude, so good. So good. And I think that's kind of similar to the accountability piece. Like if people are accountable only to themselves, I mean, just look around. People won't show up, right? So are you at least willing to do it for others? And I think that's part of the process outcome. Like people will say to me, when's enough? My mission is to develop people and change lives. Guess when I run out of that? Never. Right? It's not about the money. It doesn't even matter. But the willingness to keep doing it for other people, I think that's the separator, I think. And in sports, to be able to do that for your teammates, right? You got to hold yourself to the highest standard possible for that person.
Yeah. I mean, and that goes into the whole concept of the aggregation of marginal gains. 1% better every single day. And there were a lot of times in my life where you look out in front and, you might be a freshman in college thinking about, I want to go to the league. Well, you still got to play your freshman, sophomore, years. And just comes to living where your feet are at. And you need to be 1% better every single day. So pushing through that and really just living in the moment, I think can really benefit you. I think it'll take you really good places.
Yeah.
The hay's never in the barn. Never. The hay's never.
Got to keep putting the hay up.
Yeah.
Did you ever bale hay?
No.
Oh, it's a bitch, man. God, you did? Like when I trained horses, man, we go get the hay. It's always 95 degrees when you're doing this shit. You're just cut up, itchier than shit. Straw going up underneath your fingernails. It's not fun. Yeah. But you had to put the hay in the barn. Yeah. So I guess give me a takeaway, right? Like what's somebody that something can grasp onto, a piece of advice, like something that serves you really well to get you to where you are and it's going to keep you going to where you're headed?
It's something that he said earlier, the illusion of choice. That's huge. If you want to be great and you want to provide for your family, there is no choice on whether you wake up every single morning and you bust your ass. It's just what you do.
It's just what you do.
It comes to the point, it's just what you do.
Yeah.
There's it doesn't even cross your mind of skipping or not doing it. If you want to be great, you don't have a choice on whether you go work out or not.
Right.
There is no choice.
It's automatic.
So you might as well just go, because that's the only thing there is to do.
Yeah.
That's one of the biggest things that I've learned. So.
Well, and I think what's great about that is that becomes who you are now, right? Like it started out as a choice, right? Like I'm either gonna or I'm not. Okay, I'm gonna. And I'm gonna, and I'm gonna, and I'm gonna, and I've done it so many times that now it's just automatic.
Yep.
And then it becomes your identity. It's who you are. It's what you do.
Yeah.
Right? If people that don't know me see me on social media, they know one thing for sure every day, where I'm going to be. I'm going to be in the gym in the morning, then I'm going to be at the office. It's like what I do automatically. Yeah. What about for you? Same thing, or is there something added that you can share?
Yeah, I just think that a lot of people live under the impression that life is going to be clean and that everything that they do is just going to be a slow and steady, not even slow and steady. There's so many people that they want a quick ascension, and we said earlier, we're talking about, we didn't put a name to it, but like the bamboo theory, you sprout up overnight, but really you've been working for 5 years.
Yeah.
And people just think that, it's a grind to the top. And it's clean, and it's not. And I mean, you look at all these success stories of people, and it's so it's so cluttered, it's so dirty, there's so many setbacks that keep people from really getting there, and they just continue to push through.
Yeah. Well, I think those adversity pieces too, for the people that will keep going through those adversity pieces, are the ones that end up doing the most, right? Because they understood what it took, they were willing to fight through it, and then they have that ability to give back and impact others. And I think that's such a beautiful thing. Like, I remember when we first started doing billboards, people were like, oh, that's overnight sensation. I'm like, oh, yeah, I've fucking been broke for, my entire adult life. I'm 53. At 35, I was flat-ass broke. Didn't have a fucking penny to my name. I mean, lived in a house right down here. I'll drive you by it. It was 800 square feet, and I rented half of it out, right? So what you can do in such a short time is amazing, too, but you got to do it.
Yeah.
People think you just show up for a little while and everything's going to take care of itself. No, you got to do it, man. You got to put in the work.
Every single day.
Every single day.
Reds do every single day.
Every single day.
It restarts. No matter where you were at, you're back to square one because you got to redo it again every day.
Yeah. And that's a beautiful thing, too, about sports, I think. And you can carry that over to business as well. And I know when you spoke on the Winter Circle, like talking about life beyond football, right? So let's talk about that before we wrap up. Like, what is life beyond football? I know you want to play forever, but what does life beyond football look like for you? Like, what are the things? I know you kind of have this business mindset that you wanted to get into business and stuff like that. That was 6 months ago. What does that look like for you now? And where are you at with that, Alex?
I haven't.
You don't need to mess with that yet.
No, I'm where my feet are at.
I love it.
That's my mindset. Be where your feet are, one play at a time, 6 seconds of play, the full 60.
Yeah,
that's what I'm on.
Love it. Love it. You're not even thinking about that shit yet.
No.
Yeah.
About this podcast.
Yeah, that's it. Well, now you got to say the same shit as he did.
I mean, the first thing you think is, ride this till the wheels fall off.
Yeah.
And I'm not putting a number to it and saying 10. I'm playing this game forever because I love it.
Yeah.
And until my body can't do it anymore, that's why I kind of look. People are like, Tom Brady's crazy. Lose the wife over it. Lose these things over it. Tom Brady is the way he has accomplished all the things that he has because of the way he is.
Right.
And that's a guy who's never going to give in. And I'm not saying I got the Tom Brady mindset. I got my own mindset, but yeah, it's ride it till the wheels fall off. But I have other interests as well, and entrepreneurship.
Now you're betting on them damn horses.
Yeah, I started learning about some horses and stuff too. Yeah, and I told you last week when I threw out that first pitch, I sent you the snippet from talking about the trifecta. I remember texting you that day. Who am I throwing this on?
So he threw out the first pitch at a Tigers game. What was that? Just like 2 weeks ago, right?
Yeah, 2 weeks ago.
Actually, there were people from our team there.
Oh, really?
Ironically enough.
Nice.
Yeah. And then he sends me this where the commentators talking about Ben picking the trifecta for the Derby, which it was funny.
I texted you that day. I said, who am I taking here? I wanted Sovereignty. I'm like, who else am I going with? And I remember you saying journalism and Baeza.
Yeah.
And trifecta box, right? Trifecta.
I don't know. Yeah, I'm not sure how you played it, but basically,
I'm not sure how I played it.
What's really dope is Alex's dad, who's been my personal coach since 2017. He went to the Derby for the first time ever with his wife, and she was all over Sovereignty. And so same thing. I'm like, so everybody wanted to bet Sandman, and I didn't like the horse. I still don't like the horse. I think I hate to say this, but he's just kind of common, right? Like he had his win, and that's probably until he drops way down in class, the only win he's going to get. But because of Sandman and because of that young influencer that owns part of him, I don't know his name, but he's got millions of followers on some shit.
And he owns the horse?
He owns like 10% of the horse.
Okay.
The horse was $2 million.
Yeah.
So he owns 10% of the horse. But that was one reason why everybody was on this horse, and because his name is Sandman, which is is it Metallica? Yeah, it's a Metallica song. So that's why everybody was betting Sandman. So he was so overbet, and so it provided great value. But yeah, that was dope.
Did you know why I like Sovereignty?
No.
It's because when I was at the Florida Derby, watching the horse out there, watching Shangri-La
Road.
Yep. Sovereignty raced that day, and they said that horse ran against Owendale in the Oklahoma Derby maybe a year or two ago.
Sovereignty didn't, but maybe his dad did.
Okay, some relation to that horse, and I guess he's a finisher. Yeah. And I remember Pat told me, he said, take this horse, watch this horse, and I did. It was my first time ever betting on horses, and he hawked him down and won that race. Yeah. So I said I owe it to him when he's in the Derby. If he makes it, I was watching to see if he got enough points to get in.
Yeah.
I said I got to take him in the Derby. Yeah. And I like the jockey too. The jockey, what is it, El Dorado?
Junior Alvarado, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
But he went by some nickname that I liked or whatever.
Who knows?
Yeah.
They all got a bunch of nicknames.
Yeah.
But that's dope. It's fun for you to get into that too, because honestly, it's such a great sport. I mean, and it's the most difficult sport in the world. Like to buy a horse to win the Derby, the odds of that, like going to the NFL, the odds aren't tremendously great. Winning the Derby,
Rich Strike.
You know,
Rich
they claimed Rich Strike for $30,000.
I got Rich Strike tatted on my leg here.
That's Rich Strike.
80-1 odds. Yeah, that's
bet
Rich Strike. No, but I feel like I'm Rich Strike myself.
I love it.
80-1 odds. Because I believe he was an alternate in that race.
He was.
And he got in because the horse was sick or horse scratched. And he had the worst odds in the history of the Derby, and he won it. So.
Well, and
Insane,
the other part of it is they claim that horse, which means a claiming race is how we acquire a lot of our horses. They're in a race, and there's a price tag on them that you could, like today.
Yep.
There's claimers all over the country. You can go buy the horse today, right? It's racing.
Yep.
They claimed him for $30,000. So to claim him for 30 and win the Derby and be 80-1, well, he should be 80-1 because they fucking claimed him for 30 grand, right? So it's just an unbelievable story.
Yeah, I love it.
And it's wild to watch the replay now, looking back at it and how the whole thing unfolded.
I watched it every day. That was something that I watched every day,
Really?
especially in my recovery too, my rehab process. Like I love the call, like it's incredible.
Yeah.
And I heard about this horse because I wasn't into horse racing at all. And my head coach in college talked about Rich Strike, how he was 81, wasn't supposed to be in the race, and he won the Derby. So I kind of felt like, with my history and where I came from, Essexville Garber High School, I felt like I was
I didn't know that
way more than 80-1 odds.
Yeah,
I felt like,
I didn't know that. What horse are you?
I'm Rich Strike too, man.
Well, you can't be Rich Strike. He's Rich Strike. There's only one Rich
he might be
Strike.
Journalism, the front runner.
Yeah.
I'm not a front runner. That's the last thing I am is a front runner. We're cut from the same cloth.
We'll
man.
find you a horse tonight that you can emulate.
Owendale?
He's dead.
I know, but still the legacy.
Yeah, I don't know. He's dead.
What's
you
next
pick
up?
whoever
then?
you want. I don't know. We'll figure one out tonight.
Okay.
Mind That Bird comes to mind. This sucker was long shot, and he was last by like 30 lengths at the half, and he just kept coming up the rail. It's a crazy race. I'll show you guys a replay. It's wild. And what's another one that would be a good one? We'll get you a horse. Yeah. You need a horse. Yeah. You have this shit tattooed?
Yeah, maybe on my back or something like this.
A nice portrait.
Yeah, nice portrait. Yeah.
I appreciate you guys. Thanks for
man.
being on. Thanks for coming up this weekend. I'm glad you came with him.
Yeah.
It's going to be an epic day. It's going to be awesome. Anything else you want to share?
I got nothing, man. Just appreciate you. Great seeing you.
Yeah, thanks for having us on.
Yeah, for sure, man. Thank you, guys.
Appreciate you.
I'll be okay.